Husband 37M moved in his siblings without even letting me, 32 Feme, know. All of our future plans have basically been thrown away, and I'm heartbroken. I was always a bit of a fence sitter when it came to having children. Throughout my life, I went through phases of knowing for sure that I wanted children, to suddenly being uncertain, and suddenly not wanting to become a mother at all. My life, honestly, was pretty uneventful. I saw the women in my community having children, and began to soon fall in love with the prospect of motherhood, as it seemed exciting, and appeared to give women who chose to become mothers a purpose. Everyone else seemed to be sure, but I couldn't understand why I wasn't. I married my husband, 39 now, 7 years ago. He is a successful, well-off doctor with a deep connection to his siblings. More on that later. Marrying him was the happiest day of my life. I'm absolutely in love with him. His job keeps him busy, but also because of his job, I have the privilege to stay at home and pursue whatever I want. I did some small online work, but ultimately I was a stay-at-home wife, which I enjoy. After marriage, we still waited a bit before deciding to have children. He has a legal and moral responsibility to his siblings, twins M, F, who are now early mid-20s. But I wasn't concerned about this when it came to us possibly having a child. Seeing how he is with them, his love and sacrifice, along with his dedication to his responsibilities and to me, was confirmation that he was already a great selfless father. As I mentioned earlier, he is their legal guardian and has been since he was 18 years old, but he has essentially been their caretaker since birth due to extreme neglect/abuse towards them from the ones who birthed him. If it wasn't for him, quite literally, they would not have survived. He is their father in everything but the biological sense, and they are quite literally children due to being made disabled. From the abuse both physically, small, thin bodies, and very fragile bones due to stunted growth, and mentally, brain development-wise. They are around 12/13, mentally. Very intelligent as kids that age are, but not able to take care of themselves and still need supervision, to be cooked for, and help with movement like going upstairs and walking or standing long distances. About 3 years ago, we were coming to a decision on children. I was getting older, 32, now almost 35, and knew that if I wanted children, I had to make a quick decision. I thought about it. Honestly, I went back and forth a little, but shortly after a mutual friend had a baby, I fell in love with motherhood again. But before we could plan, a drastic change occurred involving his siblings, due to criminal mistreatment by the care team that had been caring for them. My husband abruptly moved them into the home without so much as talking to me. It was thoughtless mistake on his part that I ultimately came to understand, but I frantically state towards came to post about it on this site nearly 2 years ago, on another subreddit, in a panic about suddenly our lives being thrown away. Was in a more emotional state of mind back then, with all the clock running out thoughts in my head of what I thought I wanted. I realize now that it was not the best move, considering people couldn't fully grasp the full nature of our relationship, his relationship with the twins, or the complexity that couldn't be fully described without telling intimate parts of their backstory. I was called a lot of hateful names, idiot, stupid, and told I had no self-respect and would be miserable and bitter for making a choice for myself that didn't involve hasty divorce and took a more compassionate route, that they knew for certain that things wouldn't work out for us and couldn't wait to read again about how they were right in a few years. My husband was accused of being a manipulator, a monster, and selfish. I honestly wasn't expecting such harsh, cruel, and ableist comments, even towards the twins. He even admitted that not informing me was wrong, apologized, accommodated me in my established boundaries involving the twin staff and designated areas of the house I wanted to keep private, and explained his reasoning without being dismissive. He went into protective fixer mode. It was an emergency, trauma flashbacks, etc. It was not malicious, even though it was inherently disrespectful. And more importantly, it was not a pattern of behavior common of him at all. But apparently that wasn't enough for the people on the post, especially the fact that we agreed to wait on the topic of children for 2 to 3 years to see if I could adjust to this new normal, or whether it would be best for us to split ways, because he was going to prioritize his siblings if it came to it. This took a bit of a toll on our marriage, but neither of us wanted to give up on each other so easily. On the other hand, I hadn't been completely honest. I left out important information and took a naive approach to things he had told me regarding the twins' role in his life. He had told me before marriage that he was their legal guardian and how important they were to him, and that he would always be their father. I knew this, but took his words as more surface level than seriously reflecting on what they meant. He had also told me that the plan wasn't to leave them out of the home for long. The care team at the separate house was only temporary due to a certain circumstance. But again, I didn't properly reflect on what this could mean for the future. After the incident had occurred and the big change had happened, we had a raw, open talk, and he bluntly told me that they were his top priority, and considering he is like their father, I accepted that fact. It was a bit shocking at first, until my counselor and a few helpful people from the post told me I essentially got into a marriage with a man already with children and had seemingly ignored the fact. Something changed in me. I saw the love differently and could understand why they were first. A few months passed, then a year. Since then, we have been to marriage counseling, though working around his schedule is crazy. A few vacations, some with just us, and some with the siblings, and are in a much better place. We have evenings out and time to ourselves when it allows. The adjustment at first was difficult, but it was not as life-ending as I had been led to believe. The desire for a child, for one reason or another, naturally started to fade. Even though the twins have full-time, around-the-clock care from the in-home nursing team, I started gradually spending time with them, sitting with them at breakfast, going out into the gardens with them, doing puzzles with them, listening to them as they talk to me about their favorite things and how much they love their father. Something happened that I never thought would. I started to fall in love with them in a maternal sense. I am ashamed to say it, but I was skeptical that it was possible to grow such an attachment to older children that weren't your own, or to anyone that wasn't your spouse or actual children. I used to feel like I had no purpose. Even after marrying my husband, I couldn't decide what I wanted. Maybe that was why I waited so long into my 30s. My counselor also put an interesting thought in my head. Do you really want children? Or are you looking for a purpose? As I said, my life used to be pretty uneventful, but now I am so passionate about things such as disability awareness, child abuse awareness, and have gotten involved with so many foundations. With our wealth, I feel like I can actually do something, and I have wanted to be a children's book author. The twins really enjoy children's books more so than chapter books. My husband and I have grown closer through our love for them. I may not be their mother, but I really do care for them. I don't have many conflicting thoughts about children anymore. I don't think I want any at all, and the feeling of indifference has been there consistently for a while now. I know some people will probably still think I'm an idiot or that I was manipulated to now caring for them, even though they have staff, or this was his plan all along or something. He never asked me to, and still doesn't fully trust the staff, hence why we still have cameras in their designated areas where they frequent with the twins. But I am truly happy with my life now, and see a bright future for us all. I never thought I would log back into this account. I forgot about it for a while. This is not a gloating or gotcha thing for me. I understand that some people were generally trying to help, give tough love, or were trying to look out for me. I was inspired to share this on this site, for the last time, to give my own perspective. Motherhood and love is something I was so uppity about, but it comes in many forms. I saw it further through a mutual friend's adoption of 2 older children, 12 and 7. As women, whether you have kids or not, if there's no sense of purpose within you, it won't bring happiness. For some women, the kids are the purpose, and it makes them happy. For other women, being single and enjoying their life and their hobbies and relationships is their purpose. I don't believe having kids would have made me happy or brought me a purpose, like I used to think. The people that everyone told me would ruin me actually opened me up to my purpose, all without having to go through a risky pregnancy, possible postpartum depression, and the stress. I just want to be with my husband, the twins, and continue to have a nice life. Thank you for anyone who read to the end. This is more of a vent, and hopefully can be uplifting to women out there who might be struggling with thoughts of motherhood, kids, marriage, purpose, or self-confidence. Don't ever allow others' assertions to shape your life. I'm so glad I didn't fall into the reality that everyone had tried to push me into.